Hi, my name is Marcy Flukiger, and this is my persuasive speech for Communications 175. 15 years ago, when I was a newly called Stake Relief Society president, I first learned about a scourge that affects millions of people. At a stake leadership meeting, I asked the Relief Society presidencies from the 17 wards and branches to stand if they or a close relative, mother, father, brother, sister, daughter, or son, had suffered from depression. More than 80% stood up. When I expanded it to see if a close friend or an extended family member had experienced long-term depression, everyone in the room stood up. I was amazed and more than a little overwhelmed. According to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, anxiety and depression disorders are the most common mental illness in the United States, affecting 40 million adults in the U.S., 18 and older. That's 18% of the U.S. population. That means that among your friends, neighbors, coworkers, and family members, probably one of every 6 people suffers from depression. And if you have a family member who suffers from depression, like I do, your chances of it increase. And depression is a potentially serious condition. How can you know if you or someone you know suffers from depression? I'm not talking about the my grandmother died and I really miss her kind of depression, or other normal times of mourning. I'm talking about a depression that lasts for months or years. Most mental health experts agree that it's normal for all of us to have a bad day or to get someone somewhat down in the face of everyday pressures or experience slumps after a holiday or a vacation. But when the blues get you down, here's how you can tell if you might need some extra help to get you back on track and feeling better. When you answer these questions, think over the past few weeks or a month and specify to yourself, does this happen never, rarely, sometimes, very often, or almost always? Number 1, do you experience slowness in thinking, have trouble concentrating? Number 2, do you notice that you don't enjoy those fun activities that once brought you pleasure? Number 3, do you have a hard time getting going and finishing assignments at school or at work? Number 4, have you withdrawn from clubs or family and friends that you once enjoyed spending time with? Number 5, have you noticed a change in your appetite? Have you had a sudden weight loss or weight gain? Remember, you're going to answer these questions never, rarely, sometimes, very often, or almost always. Number 6, how are you sleeping? Too much? Too little? Are you waking up and having trouble? Are you having nightmares? Number 7, do you feel tired much of the time, regardless of how much you slept? Number 8, do you feel like you're moving in slow motion and you just can't get going? Number 9, do you cry for little or no reason? Number 10, do you feel down on yourself? Do you not like yourself? Number 11, have you ever thought of suicide or made a suicidal threat or gesture? Number 12, do you find yourself easily getting annoyed and irritable and unable to relax? Remember, having one bad day or feeling down about a temporary problem is a very normal reaction. But if you've honestly answered almost always to 4 or more of the above questions, you may need professional help. If you are concerned that you or a friend may have depression, take a similar test at www.depression-screening.org. And if you notice someone who's exhibiting symptoms of depression, ask that person, how are you feeling? Explain why you're concerned. Realize that you are not going to diagnose a problem or offer treatment options, but you can be a part of a very important support system. Tell the person that he or she is valued and deserves to feel better. Listen without passing judgment. Recommend that she discuss depression with her doctor. Offer to accompany her to the first appointment. It may not be the easiest conversation you'll ever have, but it will be one of the most important. It is often difficult to admit that you might need help. In my family, we have had several people who actually attempted suicide, so this is a very serious concern for me, and I've been on medication for years. Whether or not the person decides to take your advice and go to a doctor, please keep checking in with him or her on a regular basis. Extend invitations to participate in group activities and make him or her feel like she has a place to belong. Another way that you can help that will only take a few minutes of your time and not a lot of commitment is to make others aware of the National Mental Health Association's confidential depression screening test. While the test is not intended to diagnose depression, it can help someone experiencing possible signs of depression to become more aware of the condition and encourage them to seek professional help. You can do as I did and make signs to post in your community. This simple sign took only a few minutes to assemble. You can hang it in an employee washroom, in the library, in a recreation center, or other places in your community where people gather. And then at the bottom, you make a little tearaway strip with the web address on it so interested parties can discreetly tear off a strip and slip it into a pocket or purse. It's that easy. Please take a few minutes, talk to a friend or coworker, or post some information where someone who might need it can see it. A few minutes of your time and effort can save a life or make a life much more enjoyable for you or someone you know. Please take a few minutes to make a difference. Share that you care and save and bless a life.